Hello from Mongolia. I'm Gerald Mitchum, and my wife Frances and I came here in 1995 and began the CVM work that would later be called V.E.T. This was a pristine place when we arrived, and we saw hundreds of horses flow across the steppe in a fenceless land that stretched from China on the south and east to Russia on the north and Kazakhstan on the west. The Mongolian men loved their horses, but they didn't really understand how to care for them. Naadam is their great summer celebration where they determine who has the fastest horse in all of Mongolia. The first race I attended, 100 horses ran and 20 of them died. We knew this was an open door into the hearts of Mongolian men. In 2000, God called two men to short-term missions in Mongolia, Dr. Tom Jurgens and Dr. Johnny Hefner. They were a great example of how God uses short-term missionaries to change the world. I want you to listen to Dr. Tom Jurgens tell his story.
This is Dr. Tom Jurgens. I'm an equine practitioner from Minnesota, and I had been practicing for 25 years in the year 2000, and I was just asking God what I could do for him, how all the blessings that he had given me to be able to practice for 25 years. And CVM gave me that opportunity by inviting me to go to Mongolia and participate in the ministry that Gerald Mitchum had already started. And when I look at Romans 12, verse 1, where it says, "Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice." So in 2000, Dr. Johnny Hefner, an equine practitioner from Tennessee, and I joined together, and we started the first fast horse seminar. And it was a way for us to get into the lives of these Mongolian horsemen. And it started out as a equine medicine education seminar where we would introduce them to modern veterinary medicine to help them have healthier racehorses, and also a way to encourage them to prevent some of the exhaustion and dehydration, and then how to treat the exhaustion, dehydration, lameness, poor nutrition that many of these horses that were running these races suffered. And we invited these remote veterinarians to the seminar, and also after the seminar was over, we demonstrated these techniques on some of the race horses at Naadam. And this continued for 14 years. Johnny and I have come back and have taught now over 500 veterinary attendees at the Fast Horse Seminar. It's become the leading source of continuing education for equine medicine and surgery in Mongolia. And at first, the focus was purely on veterinary medicine, and I was getting frustrated and just wondered why I was treating these dehydrated, exhausted racehorses for many of these herders that just didn't seem to care. And Gerald Mitchum said, "Tom, the reason you're here is because one day you're going to be in heaven, and one of these horsemen or one of these veterinarians is going to walk up to you and he's going to wrap his arms around you and thank you for the opportunity to hear about Jesus Christ." And I think it was at that time that I realized that the focus was ministry, not veterinary medicine, and it was to build God's kingdom through the gifts and talents that he has given me. And I've returned now for 14 summers to lead the Fast Horse Seminar. And people ask me, why do you keep returning? And if you read what Paul says in 1 Corinthians 7:17, he says, "Nevertheless, each one should retain the place in life that God assigned to him and to which God has called him." And God called me to this ministry in 2000, and I approach it as a ministry, not just teaching veterinary medicine. And now I have 35 ministry partners and 5 churches that pray for me, encourage me, and support the ministry. And I have been able to share how this ministry has changed my life, how it has brought me closer to Christ, how it has led me closer in my walk with Christ, because when I am here, I know that I'm doing God's will. I am building His kingdom through the gifts and talents that He gave me as a horse veterinarian. And so I urge you, veterinarians, spouses, family members, church associates, to offer yourselves as living sacrifices using the gifts and talents that God gave you, to consider joining us here in Mongolia. It's a tremendous place to come and share the gospel of Jesus Christ and to just improve. And we have to remember that the last command that Jesus gave here on earth was the Great Commission, and it wasn't a suggestion. It was His last command, that we are supposed to go to all nations, and to paraphrase, reach, teach, and preach the gospel. And that is the command that we have, and we must be obedient to that command. So again, I urge you to consider a short-term trip to Mongolia or other countries with CVM, but I am familiar with Mongolia, and it's a tremendous place to share your faith and to improve your walk with Jesus Christ. Thank you. In December of 2012, the American Association of Equine Practitioners presented the Lavin Cup Award to the Christian Veterinary Mission at the convention of the AAEP in Anaheim, California. And I was blessed to be able to receive this award on behalf of CVM. And the Lavin Cup is for outstanding commitment to the welfare of the horse by CVM in general and the Fast Horse Ministry specifically. And we do this not for the applause or the award, but we do it so that God can be glorified around the world by the work we do with the Fast Horse Ministry.